Did you ever have a conversation with God? That's right, a conversation, where both you and He spoke to each other. The two main prayers in Judaism are the Shema and the Amidah. The Shema, as we will soon see, is the most powerful statement of faith, and the Amidah is our opportunity to speak directly to God. The Shema consists of 3 passages from God's Torah, and therefore it is God speaking to us. When we pour out our hearts to God in the Amidah, we then complete the dialogue of prayer as we speak to God. The most important part of the Shema is its opening verse. It's the first prayer taught to a child and the last words recited at death. It's just 6 words. Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. Listen, Israel, Hashem is our God, Hashem is one. In this video, we will analyze the meaning and the spiritual power in the first 2 words. Shema, listen. What does it mean to really listen? What are we supposed to hear? Part of the skill of deep prayer is listening, really paying attention to the words of our prayers and what emerges from our inner self as we recite these words. But listening involves much more. It means blocking out all the thoughts of pressure and anxiety, the things that worry us, the long list of things we need to do, the fears that cripple us, everything that gets in the way of listening to our inner voice. What are we listening for? The message that follows in the rest of this verse. The next word is Yisrael, Israel. And there are at least 5 ways to understand the message of the name Yisrael. Each is terribly profound and meaningful. When God renames Jacob as Israel in the Torah, He calls upon him to rise to his higher self, his soul self. You can use these 5 meanings as a ladder to rise to the Yisrael, the higher self within you, your soul self. Let's unpack these one by one, and you'll see what I mean. Yisrael, Israel. It's more than just the name of the Jewish people and their land. Originally, it was a special name given to Father Jacob in the Bible. Jacob was returning home after an absence of 22 years, and he had fled from home because his brother Esau had threatened to kill him. Now Esau was coming to greet him with 400 foot soldiers. Terrified by the upcoming confrontation, Jacob wanders off into the wilderness where he's mugged by an unknown attacker. He struggles with him all night. In the end, his assailant blesses him, declaring, "No longer will it be said that your name is Jacob, but Israel, for you have wrestled with God and with men and have prevailed." Yisrael, struggling with God. It literally means Yisra, wrestle, and El, God. So the first understanding of Yisrael is one who wrestles with God. Do we not all struggle with God from time to time? Do we not all ask at one time or another, why is this happening to me? Is God real? As we recite the word Yisrael in the Shema, we should first try to feel some of the pain of our own struggles with God. And as we do, we lay the foundation of our ascent to the Israel within us, to our higher selves. Yisrael, Israel. Yisrael can also mean one who wrestles for God or on behalf of God. After you recite the word Yisrael and recall your struggles with God, reach down for that extra bit of faith that tells you perhaps there is a purpose to your struggles. And resolve to work on behalf of God with acts of kindness and compassion. And as you do, you will rise to the next level despite your struggles. A third approach comes from the Rabbi, who teaches that Yisrael is a contraction of Sar, El. Sar, a prince or champion, and El, God. When one has come through a personal struggle with God to then struggle on behalf of God in helping to perfect this world, One can become a champion of God. Not in the sense of being the strongest or the most pious, but in the sense of utilizing the challenges that life throws at us to champion God in this world, to face our trials in a godly, menschlich way that inspires others to see God. So be a champion of God. It's your destiny. It's part of your true essence, your higher self. A fourth approach comes from the Kli Yakar, who divides the letters of Yisrael into the words Yashar, El. Yashar means straight, and El, of course, is God. Yashar El can mean either straight with God or straight to God. After struggling with God, if you then struggle on His behalf, as we said, you could become a champion of God. And in the process, you begin to see God's goodness in this world, dissipating your personal struggle with God, thus allowing you to become Yashar El, straight with God, understanding that God has His reasons for doing what He does. And finally, the Midrash understands the Hebrew letters of Yisrael to be a contraction of the words Ish Roa El, or Sheroa El, one who sees God. This is not physically seeing God, it's seeing the evidence of God everywhere, in every place, and in everything. When hardships confront us, it's hard to see God. But as we shall see in the next video, when we unpack the meaning of the two names of God in the Shema, when bad things happen to us, they are usually a form of a good not yet understood. So if we make a strong effort to come close to God in our prayers, we can elevate ourselves to the highest level so that we too can see God, even in hardship. Which understanding of Israel is correct? They all are. All are deeper and deeper levels of this holy name given by God to His people. 5 levels of increasing intimacy with God. So let's find the Yisrael in you, your higher self, as we climb its spiritual ladder from 1 who struggles with God, to 2, one who struggles on behalf of God, to 3, one who becomes a champion of God, to 4, one who becomes straight with God, and finally to 5, one who sees God everywhere and in everything. Shema Yisrael. Hello, the Yisrael in you. Are you listening? Let's do exercise number 3 on www.dancingwithgod.com and find the Israel within.